Guarding the gates of the American Museum of Natural History stands the equestrian statue of Theodore Roosevelt. James Fraser designed this solid bronze statue in 1936. The equestrian statue goes back to ancient Rome, where it was used to honor the military and civic accomplishments of a leader. The most notable example is the equestrian statue of Marcus Aurelius, the last of the 5 good emperors, made of gilded bronze in the year 173. The tradition of the equestrian statue was brought to America in 1770. A statue of King George III of England was erected on Bowling Green in New York, using 4,000 pounds of gilded lead. As ties with England rapidly deteriorated, the statue became more controversial. 2 days after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, it was torn down and used to make bullets in the Revolutionary War. In 1853, after overcoming the image of King George on horseback, artist Clark Mills created an equestrian monument of Andrew Jackson in Washington, D.C. Due to its connection to ancient Rome, the equestrian statue became widely popular in America, and several leaders have been commemorated in this fashion. The equestrian statue of Theodore Roosevelt elevates him to the level of past leaders depicted on horseback. Simultaneously, this statue serves as a commentary on monuments overall. For a monument to avoid a shifting interpretation, the artist must choose literalism over allegory. However, to remain relevant over time, the monument must incorporate elements of allegory, which the public can attach certain values to based on the historical moment. The equestrian statue of Theodore Roosevelt succeeds in this balance as 2 allegorical figures, an Indian and an African American, allow for shifting interpretation, but the literal elements, Roosevelt and his horse, hold the meaning within a specific range. The allegorical natives have prompted modern viewers to see a racist juxtaposition of whites and minorities. However, the literal images capture a specific moment of the past, preventing the racist allegation to hold. The spectrum I draw in this thesis is the literal versus the allegorical. An intelligent balance between these concepts allows the monument to remain relevant and meaningful over the years. Monuments that are 100% literal lose flexibility and do not permit for any shift in interpretation throughout time. Monuments that are 100% allegorical allow for infinite interpretations where the audience never really knows for sure what it means. The horse and the president serve as literal elements of the statue because Roosevelt was a major proponent of natural conservation and was firm in his foreign policy. Hence, he is shown on horseback and upright in an authoritative position. The 2 figures on either side of him serve as allegorical images, as they do not depict a specific person, rather they depict their race as a whole. Hence, each viewer can interpret the relationship between these figures and Roosevelt. Originally, this statue is meant to show the president taking strides in parallel to the Indians and African Americans, all 3 looking and moving in the same direction. Showing how shifts in meaning occur over time, a New York Times article states, "Of course, this alludes to Roosevelt's efforts on behalf of such figures, but it now seems implicitly condescending toward proud primitives." One New Yorker has petitioned to have it removed from the museum steps, as it, quote, "it's indicative of the white man's burden," unquote. The museum retorted, quote, "it belongs to an art historical tradition of equestrian statuary, and it was meant by the artist to depict exploration," unquote. The museum's statement holds more validity precisely because of the balance between literalism and allegory. The literal images of the president and the horse specifically point to a moment in history when, in fact, the president rode a horse and the natives often traveled on foot. The modern argument of a racist statue only holds if one refuses to see the monument as a historical monument. This statue cannot be accused of racism because of the specific images depicting a moment in history, keeping the abstract images in check. Here we see the beauty of a balance between literalism and abstraction.